What do you do when you have your heart broken and suffer mass head trauma in the span of 3 months? You write a novel about it. That's what. This is a tale of hospital beds, awkward dating mishaps, and prune juice. A journey of MRIs, French fries, and wheelchair races. Join Mimi Hayes as she laughs through the pain and drools all over her hospital gown. Breakups and brain hemorrhages, how you can make it through anything, is her intimate debacle through many mishaps in life and how to laugh at them. Because if you can't laugh at your life, or in this case, her life, then what can you do? She doesn't claim to know a lot of things, but she does know this. If you can survive a brain surgery with your sense of humor intact, then it's a job well done. This book and her story is important for young and old, permanently disabled, or on the mend. It's for the girls that get dumped, the injured, brokenhearted, and courageous. It's for anyone that has ever felt small or incapable of moving forward. It's for those of you that have had doctors, interns, and hospital janitors see your bum flapping in the wind from the back of your hospital gown. She also provides a lot of brain puns, so you don't need to be a brain surgeon to enjoy this book. You'll lobe it no matter who you are. Join me in welcoming Mimi Hayes, the author of Breakups and Brain Hemorrhages, How You Can Make It Through Anything. Tell me a little bit about just your attitude when you found out that you had a brain hemorrhage and you were going into brain surgery.
I really didn't think it was real. I was in denial, and the way that I deal with trauma or stress is to joke about it. So when I found it out, a lot of my friends didn't know how serious it was because I was continuing to joke about it. Haha, my brain is bleeding, how funny. And they didn't really react, some of them, in the way that I thought they would because I was joking about it. It didn't really hit me until the night before I had to have surgery. Now this was a month after I had learned that I had the hemorrhage. So it had been a good month just sitting and watching Netflix and writing my book, and it still hadn't really hit me that it was happening, and didn't until the very night before.
If you could relive that part again, would you act differently?
No, I don't think so. I don't really regret any of the ways I reacted or felt, because when you're put in that situation, you're just going to go to your default, which for me is humor. And I think that process helped a lot of my family members and friends who were really scared and didn't know if they could show it or not. So when I was able to laugh at it, they felt better about the situation. So it was really a lot of me like calming people down, like on the phone or in person, like, why are you crying? This is ridiculous, I'm fine. And it just continued to be that way, and yeah.
The night before your brain surgery, what was going through your head?
Definitely my frozen burrito. I had a couple friends come over that day, and previously in the day I'd spent almost the entire day on the phone with friends, family members. And I was coming towards the end of the night. I had like a bedtime, had to get my beauty sleep for my surgery. So some of my friends came over as I was just eating my frozen burrito, and that was microwaved after. It wasn't, I didn't eat it frozen. So when they came over, there were some friends that I hadn't seen in months, even years, and they just all sat in my kitchen, this group of people that had never met each other before, sitting with me. I continued to joke about it, but you could really tell, I really couldn't walk much at the time, and couldn't really, look people in the eye. I had a lot of vision issues, so I think it was pretty scary for them. And they left, and I just sat in my kitchen alone and decided to write the most ridiculous letter I'd ever written in my life, which was a letter to my family. Still a joke, still very much not taking it seriously what was going to happen to me the next day. And I just said, hey, I'm sorry that I left so many leftovers in the fridge. Hey, Tucker, my dog, you're my main man, never change. It was still very much a joke. But the fact that I'd written a letter to my family with the intent of, if something goes wrong, I want them to see this, that hit me after I wrote it. And I just crawled into bed and called my best friend, and I sobbed because I was really, really scared, and I hadn't really felt that fear until that point. Because it's not a really normal thing to sit down and write a letter that if something happens to me, I want you to find my diary and laugh about it. You know, like it was just a very strange concept. So that's when it really hit me, was the night before.
Do you think that you were confident that you'd be okay afterwards?
I really didn't understand. And that's what's so confusing to me now, is the fact that there were so much unknowns. I have a hard time believing that I was so calm. They'd obviously explained to me all the risks, and here's what could happen, here's what we think will happen. But you're dealing with a very important piece of your body, a brain, that's gooey and messy and complicated. And they, were in there with the little melon baller, and who knows what could happen with that. So I can't believe that I was so calm, because I really didn't know what would happen on the other end.
You didn't even want to predict whether or not you would be okay or something would go wrong. You didn't want to think about that.
I really tried not to, because that was just too scary. And I had been taking some video diary. I'd started like this little video diary when I got sick, and just kind of seeing like what was going on, trying to really like document the experience, because I really didn't know what it meant. I didn't know how to understand it. I was writing about it, thinking about it, but not to the extent of, well, what's going to happen if I get out of surgery and I can't see, or I can't walk, or whatever. I had never thought about that. So I still am in total shock that this even happened. So it's hard to really think about it when you're in the moment.
It's so funny that I had a brain surgery too. By the way, Brain Buddies.
Brain buddies.
Found it. Man.
The best kind of buddy.
Yeah, definitely. There's a mental connection happening between you and I right now. What did your hospital do to help you feel okay about all this, traumatic stuff happening to you?
Really just reassuring me that I was a really good candidate for full recovery, because I am so young, and they'd seen young people with this kind of thing before and seen them recover, and so they just reassured me, yeah, we've done this plenty of times before, and they just really made me feel safe. They made me feel like I was going to be okay. So I'd say definitely the staff was a big deal.
So you're recovering from your brain surgery. Just what kind of person were you, immediately after surgery? Immediately
after, I was just very hopped up on the medication. Felt awesome. My vision was completely sideways, so I had thought that as a cruel joke, my nurses had turned the bed to the side and taped me to it. So I had a very serious discussion with my nurses. Why would you do this to me? Why would you tape me to the side of the bed? I can't see straight. I'm seeing sideways. And they're like, oh, that's probably not a good thing. I was very sassy and couldn't, really move my head without assistance. And so I would kind of just, laid there as they woke me up. And at that point, I had no idea the surgery had happened. I was panicking. I thought it hadn't started yet. And oh my God, I have to wait X amount of hours to have this big thing happen to me. And they're like, no, you're fine, you're alive. We're all alive, it's fine. Okay, good, cool. Glad we cleared that up. And when I got into the recovery room, I did not know this, but when they take you out of a serious surgery, they put you in a room with a bunch of other people that are also coming out of serious surgeries on anesthesia and lots of medication. So I'm in this room, and I'm just, hanging out, talking to Ryan and Sue. And
who are Ryan and Sue?
My two first nurses. Kind of cracking jokes with Ryan. I'm like, dude, give me an ice chip. Come on. You just throw ice chips in your mouth because you're very dehydrated. So we're just, shooting the what have you. And I hear this nurse. Now, mind you, I'm seeing sideways and I'm half asleep and I'm on drugs. So I'm hearing this noise that may or may not exist, and it's this voice of a nurse, and she's saying, Helen, can you sit in the chair, please, Helen? Helen, can you not pull that out of your arms, Helen? Helen, what? Please don't crawl on that, Helen. And I hear Helen's name about 1,000 times in the span of however long I'm sitting there. I have no concept of time. I'm on drugs. So Helen is causing havoc in the anesthesia room, and I can't see her, but I hear her. So I lift myself out of the chair and have my head, I can barely support it, and I'm like, Helen, sit in the chair, Helen, sit in the chair. And I don't even know if Helen exists. I don't have that proof. I don't know if she exists. I just don't. And so everyone was laughing, and I was just trying to support Helen in sitting down because she was really making me upset.
Did you ever find out if Helen existed or not?
No. But everyone knows who I was with. If you ever see Helen, you need to put a kick me sign on her back because I'm still really upset.